Jordan Bohannon, Jared Stansberry. It's Jared and J-Bo on Iowa Everywhere. This is Iowa Everywhere.
All right, welcome to the podcast. I'm not gonna waste any time today.
Hi, Jared.
I got some things to say.
Get right to it.
Jordan Bohannon, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, man. I'm breathing. I'm alive. What more can you ask for?
I appreciate the fact that my positivity on Saturday during the first half of the game has worn off. Appears to have worn off on you now.
Dude, I'm literally trying to talk shit to you, and then you come back with this philosophical bullshit. I'm like, oh my gosh. Now I feel like a giant ass to even trying to talk shit to you on Twitter.
Oh, don't get me wrong. It was definitely hitting. I was just trying to stay calm. I've gotten old now to where I don't get fired up like that anymore. There was a day though you could have gotten under my skin like that.
There was a day too. I know. I mean, you said that, but I don't know how do I even go about that next reply to you, or even trying to, do I continue talking shit? Or
you can, you can keep trying it, man, but it's going to take a while, I think, for you to crack through and find what's really going to get to me. But no, it was a fun game though. I think even though it was a chaotic game and it was probably not the most aesthetically pleasing game, once the rain started coming down, that just felt like a perfect way for that game to end. I had a lot of fun watching it. I don't know. What did you think? I mean, I'm sure you probably didn't have as much fun, but
I thought there's a lot of weird turnovers to say the least. I'm trying to think. It was the first quarter or early in the second quarter when you guys had the ball on the end zone and just had a terrible fumble. You guys should have easily scored there. But I don't know. Like, Petras had a poor game. I mean, we kind of were expecting that after how he started in the first week. But again, I just think the offensive line just spot up. Like the fumble he had in the first half, he had no time to do anything with the ball. There's no receivers really right now that he can really throw to.
They couldn't run the ball.
Yeah, they can't run the ball. I mean, it was everything that can go wrong for the Iowa offense this year has gone wrong so far. And there's a couple guys sitting out that are injured as well. So it's just, it might be one of those years, but also you look back at last year, they didn't do that bad for the offensive woes they had last year as well. So maybe they can figure something out with their defense, just continue to progress every week, that, the defense can continue to buy them games to, being top in the league like they were last year. So, I mean, we're just going to have to see. Iowa State played really well, though. They did everything they should have done. I mean, they had a couple of mistakes here or there, but I thought their defense was very, very, very good for playing inside Kinnick.
Yeah, I buried the lead. Georges Niang, former Iowa State Cyclone, is going to join us here sometime in the next probably 10 or 15 minutes or so. And we're going to talk a little bit Cyhawk with him. I'm sure he'll have some things to say to you, Jordan. I'm actually positive of that, but no, man, I could tell that the tenor of the game and like the entire vibe of everything had drastically shifted. It was like 2nd and 1 kind of early in the fourth quarter after Iowa State had gone on that long touchdown drive, and Iowa tried to run a reverse on 2nd and 1 and like failed at it epically. And that was the point where I was like, man, I think that they might like really be grasping for straws of what to try and do right now, and that was where I kind of had some confidence that they were going to be able to win the game, despite some craziness at the very end of it. That was just weird and chaotic, like I said, but man, I don't know, like that game to me, not even from a, you take the rivalry aspect out of it and things like that. Like the last several years for Iowa State's program have been about learning how to win and like learning how to handle being successful and things like that. And more than it's about like, we're going to try and go win championships. Obviously they played for a Big 12 title that one year, but that game to me was where it's like, man, I think that these guys like expect to win regardless of what happens, and I'm sure when you guys had your rough couple years to start your career and then it flipped, where it's not just like, man, we're trying to learn how to win. And like every game, it's like, we're just trying to be able to win. no, you like go into it. It's like, no, we think we're actually going to win, and here's how we're going to go and do it. And then no matter what happens in the game, you're able to stay confident and keep playing, and that was like that moment to me where it's like they kind of got over that hill where they beat every team in the Big 12 in the last several years. Now they've beat Iowa. Everybody that Iowa State has played, for the most part, they've been able to beat unless they played them in a bowl game or something like that. So that's why it just felt significant, I think, for Iowa State's program as much as it was just about that one individual game in my mind.
Yeah, that kind of brings me back to my freshman and sophomore year, those 2 years you were talking about. I mean, we were decent my freshman year, and then sophomore year, we just had a lot of guys that just didn't flow well together, and it's just the chemistry wasn't there. And I remember my junior year, once we got my junior summer, going to my junior year in that summer, that was kind of the first time I kind of spoke up, and it was like, hey, I'm tired of being like underdogs here. Like we have the talent here that we should go into every game, go into every arena expecting to win. And I think that mentality that you're talking about, Jared, is, I think sometimes it helps being underdogs to have that edge. But man, when you have that mindset of every time you go into this place, every time you go against this team that you're expecting to win, every single possession you're expecting to dominate, that it kind of creates that more motivation for you and more chemistry, that morale around the team to kind of really power through those games. And like winning at Kinnick is not easy.
Right.
And for them to do that after, I think it was a 6-year drought, Iowa State hasn't won.
Yeah. Well, and turning the ball over 5 times.
Exactly.
Like everything that could go wrong for you did.
Exactly. Yep.
And it's where, it's just kind of cool because you think back about this like last group of guys like Brock Purdy and Breece Hall and all those guys that were so good for Iowa State. They were the ones that had to go through the period of like trying to learn how to win. And then their senior year, they come into it and they're really hyped and they brought everybody back and all that stuff. And then they weren't, all of a sudden when they stopped being the underdog, it was really hard for them to flip that switch, to just being the people who expected to win. And I think that this group of guys, there's enough new ones, that they get into those moments and they don't even think about the bad things that have ever happened, and that's where this, I think, can even take us into another conversation we're going to have about Scott Frost in Nebraska. Because I think this is something that at Nebraska that you see where the players on the field just have no confidence. So the second that one thing goes wrong, everything falls apart, and it becomes a snowball effect of like, oh man, I threw an interception. And then, the defense comes out, they're in a tough position. They're like, man, fuck the offense. They put us in a bad position and all those kinds of things. And there's no trust there, but like, as you develop that trust and then as you like build that bond with all of each other, then, go into it. And it's like, all we know is winning from Iowa State's perspective. Those guys have never had a losing season. And it's like, now you kind of can turn the page as a program to where you hope that that's like the mentality, not trying to be the underdogs that are chasing people all the time, to where you can maintain some consistent success.
In games like this, when you have a game and you win at a big time arena like Kinnick and you're playing in a rivalry game, this game can be like a not only a person individually wise, how they solidify their legacy individually wise, but also as a team wise and moving their program in a different direction. Because obviously, when you lose 6 years in a row to in-state team that has this rivalry that's so important to the state, and they're able to get past that, not only getting past it, but also being an away game at the opposing team's place, that just goes leaps and bounds for the rest of the season and rest of their careers as well, that they have all this confidence that, hey, we just did this last year, we just did this last week, so we have the confidence to do whatever we can into the upcoming weeks. And I think, going to that Nebraska, that team, that they really haven't had that's been a problem these last few years. They haven't had that signature game that they're able to like, okay, we can compete with these teams. We can continue to win at these arenas. And I think Iowa State doing that this last weekend is going to be huge for a lot of the players on that team.
Shit, I'll never forget, man, when the moment that I was like, man, we got to take these guys seriously with like your team was when Monte and them went over there and lost to you guys. And that was the moment where it was like, okay, there might be something going on here, And before that, not that we like didn't take you seriously or anything like that. You guys were just young. Like we didn't know you. We didn't know anything about you or what you guys were going to be like. And that was like, yeah, that was kind of what you're saying. It's like that moment, even though it was in Iowa City, it was one of those moments where it's like, oh man, that's like a signal to people. You win this game, it means that you're probably pretty legit.
Yeah. I do have a story. I remember that was my freshman year. I remember Iowa State had a really good team that year. I think they ended up making, was a Sweet 16 that year or something, or Elite Eight
No, they
maybe?
lost a heartbreaker to Purdue in the round of
Oh,
32.
yep. Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
But they had a really great team, obviously Monte being Monte. Uh, I remember, it was the night before the game. Actually, wait, I want to say it was before the Notre Dame or after the Notre Dame. I think we played Notre Dame before we played them. I have to look back. It was a couple days before the game, and I saw Monte slid into one of my comments on my Instagram post.
Oh,
And
jeez.
it was just a picture of me and Christian Williams. I said 2 PGs or something like that, just a typical caption. And he replied like 17 laughing emojis on my Instagram post. So I'm like, okay, this is gonna be. I was like starting to get like a grasp of this rivalry. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
this is gonna be like a big time game. This is like the game of the year. So when I saw that, I remember being like on the court, and I remember the ball being tipped. And first of all, I was like, "Holy shit, I'm playing against these guys!" Like this, I remember watching this shit on TV. Like how crazy this
Right.
rivalry. I remember last year when Utah had 31 points a half, and there's a buzzer beater to you guys knocked us off, Utah and all those guys. So I'm like, this is huge. So I remember, I remember when we beat them, and like our whole team was like going crazy in the comments. Like we had Iowa fans all over the Instagram posts. Like it's really cool. But that's what makes rivalries so great. I think when we have Niang coming on here, we'll talk about that a little more. But I just love the Cyhawk rivalry. The fact that you can kind of poke fun like that at other people, it's glorious.
Well, and then I remember too after the game, I think Monte said something about how they know that they would beat you 9 times out of 10 or something like that. I can't remember what it was. It
Man, we
was
won by like 15 or
well, I
something.
know
Like,
that's where and they had not been playing well like
no.
those couple weeks before that, and it was that team took some time to kind of gel together after George left. And by
Yeah.
the end of the year, like you were saying, like that was a damn good team. Won the Big 12 tournament, won a bunch of their games right at the end of the season. I want to say like 7 of 8 or something like that. And then they dude, that game they played against Purdue. You played against Caleb Swanigan, right?
Yeah, we actually beat them that year at Carver. That was a huge win for us because they had a Caleb Sonnigan is
God rest his
he was a
soul.
problem. Yeah,
Sorry,
rest in peace to him.
yeah, rest in peace.
He was a very great dude too. Very great off the court. I remember him coming up to me before the game, and I was like scared shitless of him because he's just
He's
a
huge.
individual. Yeah.
Well, and then they had who was the other guy? Isaac Haas. They had him too.
Isaac Haas. They had Edwards, 2 Edwards.
Yep.
I think that was Carson.
And then
Carson in the first year too.
Who was
Yeah.
the
Thompson, PG Thompson. He was
the white shooter. What was his name?
Matthias.
Yeah, Dakota Matthias. Yeah.
We had a running joke on the Iowa team that because after our sophomore year or after we played them twice my freshman year, if I do remember correctly, and we played them at when we played them at Mackey. I mean, that place is just unbelievably loud. But they went off. I think they beat us by 30 or something. And Matthias said,
is
like,
that the
8.
bury the tape night? The one when you guys didn't even watch the
No,
tape you were talking about?
no. That was the next year when we played them. They went off on us twice.
Okay.
But they had like 18 threes again on us. And it was a running like joke. Like, man, this Dakota Matthias, I've never seen him miss a 3 ever in our lives. Like we just kept saying that in the locker room the entire season. And I swear to God, I don't think I ever saw that dude miss a 3 on TV. I'm curious.
He might have gone off in that game. I would have to go back and look at it. The thing I'll never forget about that game was that Iowa State's team that year was small.
Yeah.
And that was kind of their problem the whole year was that they couldn't figure out a way to be able to play with all those guards. And it was like going into the game, it's like this is the perfect opportunity for them to go 5 guards, spread the floor, make them guard make Swanigan come out of the paint, make Isaac Haas come out there and guard somebody. And dude, they tried to like match him physically for the entire first half of the game, and they were down like 15 points.
You can't match physicality against Purdue.
Exactly. And I was sitting there, I'm like, dude, put Deontay Burton at the 5 and let him drive Caleb Swanigan all damn night, And they finally did that in the second half, and I think Deontay Burton scored like 25 points the second half of the game and had a crazy dunk right at the end, and then Iowa State didn't get a rebound on a free throw, and that's how they lost the game.
Fran on our scouting report, he said he comes in and we're going over Mate. Then Deontay Burton was the next player. He goes, Burton drives, sun rises in the east, sun rises in the west. Burton's driving left. That's all he said about him. And then we moved to the next guy. So our whole game, we're pushing him literally. Like I don't know if you remember, like if you watch highlights, we're literally pushing him to the right side all game. He couldn't finish with the right
Nobody
hand.
else figured that out apparently because he was awesome that year. I mean,
Well, same thing with Brockington this
Yeah.
last year. He went left every time. Every time.
Yeah,
Great
and
player, phenomenal player, but guys, he didn't have a right hand. Let's be
dude,
honest
but
here.
that was honestly what made watching him on like a nightly basis and going and watching him play live kind of incredible and fun to watch, you know, like in his own way, was that everyone knew what spots he wanted to get to every time he touched the basketball, and he still got there, and then he made tough shots on top of it, you know.
Yeah.
And that was when I was like, damn, this dude is legit. And I don't know if you saw, he just signed a 2-way with the Pelicans the other day.
That's awesome. Congrats to him. That's huge news.
That was what was cool, was because I didn't know he could do that coming from Penn State. You know, like
Yeah.
I didn't know that he had that ability to create for himself by getting to the places that he wanted. He was just strong, and he could just really knock down the shots when he got where he needed to go.
Yeah. No, I mean, we literally, that was our main goal that game. And I don't remember who was on him, and he went left the entire game. And we're just like, fuck, if we're not even following those simple scouting reports details, we were going to lose by 20. And that's what happened.
I know you said Caleb Swanigan was scary when you met him. I know basketball players don't usually want to admit they're scared of people. Who was the most terrifying player you played against in college, though? The one that you're just like, this guy's going to eat us alive or eat me alive?
I have two. First one, what was his name at Penn? I'm completely drawing a blank. Big guy at Penn State, had the mustache.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Yes, I know who you're talking about.
What
And
is
he
his
would
name?
wear like the wristbands too. Like he just
Yeah.
looked like an old school player.
He was huge. This is gonna piss me off.
I'm searching it.
Yeah, I'm
No,
having
I'll
a
find him.
complete mental breakdown over here.
No, I'll find him. I got this. He was there last year, right?
Yeah,
2
years ago. He wasn't there last year.
Okay. So
It wasn't the white. It wasn't
Mike Watkins.
Yeah, Mike Watkins.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
the first thing I'll say about him, then I'll move to the second person. We played Penn State my freshman year, or it was sophomore year, I think, at home. And I remember doing our stretching, and I'm like, holy shit, this dude is fucking massive. And he walks by me. He literally taps. I'm not even joking. He taps me on the shoulder and goes, "Hi, Jordan. Nice to meet you. I'm Mike." I'm like, what is going on here? This dude is the nicest guy ever. He's literally a gentle giant. And ended up being like, we became kind of decent friends through the years because how many times we played against each other. But that was one. Two is Cumberland from Cincinnati, who played in my junior year. And
oh yeah, Jerron Cumberland, right? Or something like that.
I looked at his tattoos. I'm like, oh my! I was looking for tattoos on his face, like a little teardrop under his eye. He was one.
Jerron Cumberland. What? I feel like he was a bucket getter, wasn't he?
Oh my god, he had an ugly ass shot, but man, he was violent.
15.5. Yeah, he was tough. I do remember him. Mike Watkins, though, he was a dog. I remember he was the same thing, dude. Every time that it was like you said with Dakota Mathias, every time I'd turn on a Penn State game. I mean, I wasn't watching Penn State all the time, but it was like anytime that they're playing whoever, that you turn it on and he's just out there getting boards, like being a dude, you know. And then you look at his numbers, it's like for his career, he averaged 9 and 8, you know.
He should have been like a 15 guy.
Right. I apparently saw every single one of Mike Watkins' greatest games that he ever played. Always on like a Wednesday night on BTN.
Yeah, Harwar last year, he's literally, I think he was in the Navy for 2 years and transferred to Penn State or something. He was a big guy for Penn State. He was just unbelievably. I mean, I think he averaged like 14 rebounds last year. Yeah, like unbelievable stat.
Man. All right, let's talk about Scott Frost. We kind of breezed over it. But what'd you think of here? First, I'll ask you this. What'd you think of him being fired 2 weeks into the season, 3 weeks into the season? If you're a player on that team, what do you think you're feeling at this point?
Well, before I look at it from a player perspective, I'm looking it over as like just an outsider perspective here that I think, I mean, I guess this is a conspiracy maybe, but I think he meant to lose that game so he could get a full buyout. Is that bad to say?
I mean, I guess I don't know. It's not bad to say. I guess it couldn't be proven wrong. I've heard a lot of different things about him. Yeah, I've heard. I think there's a lot there. That's the crazy thing. I bet somebody could write a book about this, about that tenure. The number of things that I've like just heard rumblings of it over the years. You know, a lot of I don't even know the right way to put it. A lack of accountability, I think, in a lot of ways with different things. Like you hear media people over at Nebraska talk about how he would be late to practice. He would be late to meetings. He wouldn't show up to things prepared. He would like miss recruiting calls, like all
Okay,
this kind of stuff.
Jared, how the fuck can you be late to Nebraska? There's nothing to
That's
do in
what I just
Nebraska.
wanted to say.
There's nothing to do in Nebraska. How do you be late to your own practice? What are you doing?
What I want to say is the thing that makes me more sick, it's not that someone would do that, not that a football coach would do that. Like it is what it is if a football coach is like that. It's lazy, and like that's what would kind of make me mad about it. It's more annoying from an outsider's perspective, I think, that like they allowed it to happen and let him coach there for 5 years if all of these things were going on, you know? And there's people people have said that like assistant coaches are going to the athletic director and complaining that he's doing these things. And like that's where I sit here and so I sit there and say, why didn't you fire him 3 years ago then? If these kinds of things are happening, if this is what's being like that's just as it makes a lot more sense why his football teams lost the way they did. Clearly they weren't being prepared.
Like he was gonna be the savior. Like how do you miss that bad? I mean, they have good play. It's not like they have bad. They have good recruiting classes coming in too. It's not like he's a bad recruiter.
Yeah, and I mean, clearly they're not that far from winning. I mean, every game is close.
If you lose to Georgia Southern, you're not close to winning. I don't care.
You know what I'm saying, though. I mean, every game they would play would be close.
That's true. Yeah, last year was really And
it was like clearly they're on some level competitive. You know, they're good enough to be competitive, and if you're good enough to be competitive, you're good enough to win every once in a while. And they weren't even winning every once in a while at this point.
Was that video him sliding down the pole outside the football stadium after he got his buyout? Did you see that?
No.
You didn't see that?
No.
I don't know if it was from earlier in the year, but there's a video that went viral this last week of him. He was walking down the stairs in I think it's where his office is in the stadium, and he's sliding down. He got on like a little kid. You know what I'm talking about? They
like on the banister.
They hop on the pole and he slid down like 15 steps on the pole. Someone caught it on
don't
video.
Imagine that was right after he got fired. I bet that was from another time.
I mean, if I just had a buyout for $16 million, or was it $17 million not to coach at that school, I mean, maybe I might do that too on the way out.
Think how bad you have to be messing up though for the school to be like, this is worth $7.5 million over letting you stay here for 20 more days.
I don't even like how. It's the same thing with Coach O. Like they're literally paying all this amount of money not to coach.
Yeah,
it's absurd.
But I think the thing for Nebraska now, it's like they need a complete and total rebuild, like tear down and rebuild of everything they're doing, their entire football operation. And I think that's the thing that this deal with Frost maybe showed some people is that their old way of doing things was not working and that they were going to have to try and change some stuff. But I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I have no idea. It's a weird situation.
All right. But from the player perspective, how would you feel?
From the player perspective about him
I feel like
now
that like hearing these things, I'm like, man, I think I'd be relieved. You know, I'd be like, shit, maybe we got some professionals around here now. You know,
I don't even know what I would think as a player.
At that point, you would have to have lost. Like, I don't know. I'm just speaking from my perspective. If like these things were happening and the coach was showing up late to practice and that kind of stuff, I would have absolutely no respect for that guy. You know, no trust in that person. It's just like what we were just talking about, like with Iowa State and your team, like that. How do you want to go to fight with that guy if he doesn't even have the accountability to show up at practice on time? You know,
I don't even know if first, I mean, I would look, knowing my individual self, I would look at the dollar amount like, holy fuck, this coach is getting paid this much money.
Yeah.
And we can't do well here in Nebraska. Like, and if all those accusations are true, that he's shown up too late to practice and all these assistant coaches are bitching about his behavior, then I mean, I wouldn't go to battle with him. That's for damn sure.
No, even if he walks into your living room and recruits you, I mean, it's no wonder they had so many people going in the transfer portal, you know, and why their roster was changing every year. No wonder, you know, like
there's so much potential there. I just don't. Nebraska has unbelievable facilities. I just don't know how they can't figure it out. It is I can't even. It's unfathomable to me. It makes no sense.
Again, I think it's just a culture thing. Like you have to have good culture before, and as an entire athletic department, I think maybe it's improving now, but it just seems like people pull in too many different directions, and there's too many people that are too old school, that want things to be the way that they were 30 years ago, and they don't want to adapt, and
Yeah.
they also have a mindset. They've had a mindset of winning championships, like trying to win national championships, which is not realistic. Anybody who is on the outside of it can tell them, like, this is not a realistic goal. And I think that's, like I said, Frost was one of their own. Like, if anyone was going to win there, or before, if you had told me 5 years ago who would be the ideal replacement to be the head coach of Nebraska, like, it's got to be Scott Frost, and he was a failure. And I think a lot of those people saw that. It's like, okay, one of our own can't even get this done. We need to get somebody else's ideas in here.
Do you think Campbell is those rumors are true?
I don't think so, man. I mean, I guess they could be. I don't see Matt Campbell having those conversations during the year, knowing what I know about Matt Campbell and
yeah, but that's
how
what
I know
no
him.
offense to him. I'm sure he's very, very good dude. Like everyone knows there, but I feel like every coach says that they're not having these discussions, and all of a sudden,
yeah.
I mean, no offense to Iowa State, but Nebraska's unbelievable amount.
Here's what I'll say though. There. I feel like from his perspective, it's like we just talked about this. Iowa State, he's been doing this whole rebuild for 7 years now, and is just now getting to where the rebuild is kind of gonna like start paying off, and then he can go and rebuild it and just go start over at Nebraska, and that to me would be not very appealing, but I mean, yeah, it would be a lot of money, and I'm sure there'd be a lot of opportunity, but I think too that if he'd wanted to leave, I think he'd had a lot of other opportunities to do so at this point, And it's like, I just find it hard to believe Nebraska all of a sudden would be the one, that is going to shift his mind.
I find it funny the difference between the fan bases right now. Like Iowa State's coming off an unbelievable win at Kinnick, and everyone's high as can be. Campbell is in rumor mill of having, a coaching job. And then we look over on Iowa social media, and there is I
got to ask you about something.
It's a complete meltdown going on right now, Jared.
The Bob Stoops and Fran McCaffrey videos.
I'll tell you what, I wanted to retweet it really, really bad, but it wouldn't look good on my timeline if I retweeted that. Dude, it is, I will say this. The troll that did this, they deserve like an award because it is the funniest. I was literally in tears.
That's an all-timer. Yeah,
I was in tears watching it. I don't even care if you're making fun of the guy. Like, how can you not laugh at that?
Do you think Coach McCaffrey knew what he was doing?
No. I'm sure he went in the office this morning and saw it go viral, and he is doing everything he can to find the guy. And I just know how his personality is. Like, Coach Fran, I'll support you 100%, but how do we get messed up there?
Well, now it's on the internet forever, so it's not like it's going to go away, Yeah.
The funny thing is, like,
I'm pretty sure Fran sent a cease and desist to some of my friends one time for something that they put on their website. So we'll see what he'll do about the cameo, I guess.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I will say this: there's just so much out there in social media that.
Oh, it's so dumb, dude.
You can get lost. Obviously, I mean, you know it more than anyone. Us two know that you just get lost in it. You say one wrong thing, you say one line. Several times that's happened to me in an interview. I say one line, and the reporter runs with that one line and highlights that in the text.
I was doing radio in Omaha last week because of you.
Yes, we got to talk about that
because you said that the games are fixed. So now
which they are. I'm
answering questions for you all over the place about whether or not you were serious, for one. And then two, which games you thought were fixed. And then there's like immediately I posted the video. First response. What about all the games they won too? How many of those ones were fixed?
That wasn't the question. Like, people don't even listen to the podcast. Like, that wasn't even the question. It was like amount of times. I think it was how many times we lost because of the game being fixed, correct?
I can't even remember. Yeah, probably.
I answered it like the amount of games I lost because the game was fixed.
All right. Well, how many of them did you win that were fixed then?
20%.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I don't know. I'm sure if he thinks that 20% of them that they lost were fixed, he probably thinks 20% of the ones they won were fixed too. I was like, yeah, no, that was this guy in Omaha was like, I got to ask you about this. And I was like, I was like, well, I don't think the answer is going to be as good as what you are hoping for. But no, that was funny, man.
What's your friend's name? Jake Brand? Jack Brand?
Oh yeah, Jake. Yeah, Jake Brand. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's good, dude. Yeah.
no, I think I've talked to him a couple of times. I think everything
He
I've
works
heard
for
about
Channel
him.
13 in
Yeah,
or in Des
but
Moines. Yeah.
first of all, nothing against him. He's a very respectful guy, I'm sure. But he tweeted at me, or he quote tweeted that video. He goes, "A former Hawkeye player said the games were fixed." I'm
Yeah.
like, I can't even get the respect of saying this is Jordan Bohannon, former Hawkeye. He just said a former Hawkeye player. I'm like, okay, maybe this is like my downturn in my life. I'm known as just a former Hawkeye player.
But knowing how Jake is on there, it wouldn't. I thought he was joking. You know, that's why I responded the way I
No,
did,
I'm
because
sure I had no
I
problem with
thought
that.
most people who knew, like, I thought it was pretty clear it was a joke. You know, I mean, even though I did take it out of context when I made the clip, but that was like on purpose.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
because it was a joke. Like I was trying to play up the joke.
The thing is, it was a joke, but it's not a joke. It was a joke, but it's not a joke.
Come on, man.
I'm serious. You don't think games are fixed?
No, I believe that there might be some. 20%
Might be.
is an
Might be. That's
obnoxious
all I
is an
wanted.
obnoxious
Might
number.
be.
20% is an obnoxious number. I was gonna go and try and find some close games and ask you if you thought that they were fixed, but I thought that might be a little over the top. That would be a little too much
I think the better phrase of it would have been the amount of games, not necessarily that were fixed in one's favor, but fixed for the line.
for the line. Yeah,
Yeah, because
that like if there was some free throws that were
100% has happened. I remember North Dakota, my friend. We can look back at the tape. People can do some digging here. North Dakota, I got a flagrant foul. I elbowed this guy in the throat because he was on me at the end of the game. We're up like 25. Like it's North Dakota.
mhm.
I don't remember what the line was, but
Didn't one of your teammates come from North Dakota?
yeah, Philip. I don't remember the head coach, Brian Jones, I think. Someone had money in the game on the North Dakota staff. I'm more than certain someone had money on the game, North Dakota staff, or one of the refs had money on the North Dakota line or something. Nicholas Baer got a rebound and he just completely got hacked at the other side on the other side of the basket. And they laid the ball up at the buzzer, and that was the line, like whatever. I can't remember what it was. And we're all just like, oh my God. Because we obviously, I mean, you know what the line is as a player.
Right,
Like,
right.
I don't care if you want to be politically correct or not. Every player knows. There's a viral video of Luka Garza saying it 2 years ago after we just played a shit team and we won by this certain amount of time, and someone hit a half quarter to make hit the line. It literally got caught on film and it went viral on Barstool. Like it was
It's a
all
bad
over.
beat. Yeah.
Yeah, people know. You
Well,
can't tell me
especially with
refs
the
know
things
too.
like bad beats and like on SVP, you know, like
Yeah,
those things are now
exactly.
famous and it's on the internet all the time when there's
It
something
happens
like that
every
happens.
night. It happens
Yeah.
every night in a sport.
Man. All right, no, I'm with you. I think that this could be I think that you're probably right. That this is and here's my thing that I've thought about over the last couple weeks. There are like thousands of college basketball officials. Think
Yep.
how many college basketball games there are on any given night. 100 there could be, you know. That's 300 officials alone just there in that one night of games. And that's across an entire season. I mean, if you wanted to tell me that 5% of officials were doing this, that's still a lot of college basketball games, but it's not like obnoxious, you know, and it's not doesn't mean there's like rogue official problems.
Are you saying I'm obnoxious? I can't even say the word obnoxious
No, I
because I
think you were
said
being
20%.
yeah, well, I think 20% was an
I was
obnoxious
being an
number, but I think
entertainer.
you were hyperbolic. Yes.
I was being
Yeah.
an entertainer.
Well, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, I get what you're doing. You are the one that asked me if I thought that it was real. I'm poking holes in your argument. I'm just trying to make sure that we're covering our bases here journalistically.
Yes. So summary, it was a joke, but it wasn't a joke.
There was another game I was going to ask you about, but I can't even. I can't remember what it is now. I don't know. Oh no, this is what I was going to ask you. Did you? It maybe was too early, but the night you missed the free throw on purpose on the consecutive made free throws streak.
Yeah.
Would it have shocked you if someone had gotten mad at you because you altered the line when you missed the free throw?
Oh, I wouldn't have been shocked at all. It was at the end of the game too. I'm curious if we were to go back. I'm curious to see what the line was that game.
Like, obviously, I'm not saying anything like
No,
that someone should have
absolutely.
been mad or anything like that. Like, I just know that there's someone out there on the internet who would be on an anonymous Twitter account and would be like, "Hey, fuck you, man, for missing that free throw."
Or if it was really close, I had NCAA officials. Imagine like I had NCAA officials knocking on my apartment door the next day.
That would be like when you took the rug, right? Like they came back and got it.
Yeah, they have the rug and they have like all this paperwork of me just fixing games. I'm like, they're like, which one do you want to start with first, Jordan?
What happened with that? Do you still have the rug?
Okay, the story gets messed up every time. I don't know how I said or how I got the rug. I think it's the interpretation how I tweeted about the rug. But in the tweet, you can specifically say I screenshot Nicholas Bear's Snap story. It's
Oh,
from
okay.
his Snap story.
Okay. So
And
he stole the rug. You're just
he
gonna
stole
pass
the fucking
blame.
rug. Everyone thinks I stole it. Nicholas Bear's the thief. And we bring it up all the time. Every time I'm with Bear, we bring it up. I'm like, Bear, when are you just gonna come free of all your guilt and just say I took the fucking rug? I think that's what needs to happen.
He needs to just tweet that. No other context to it. I took the fucking rug.
I took the fucking rug. That was it.
People would know probably what it was about.
Yeah. That thing got so much publicity. I was shocked at that.
Well,
that was insane.
I remember that being one of those moments where you sit there and you're like, "Are you fucking serious, man?" Like with the NCAA,
The
of
funniest
all things, man.
The funniest thing is, it was after we lost to Tennessee. It was that year, and that was like an emotional game. We were in the locker room for like an hour and a half, crying, just bawling because we thought, just obviously we're not soft, but like the amount of work you put in for a season and like all your emotions just hit you at the end of the game or at the end of the year. So like we finally get done, we're all getting dressed, and we just start ripping everything off the locker room, like wallpaper, like door hangers or the hangers to put clothes on.
It was the last game at that site, wasn't it?
Yeah, in the last game of the site, we knew that. And we took the name tags, like we're ripping stickers off walls. And we have a big ass cooler that I remember Cordell Pemsel just picks up. He's like, grab the snacks. We all just start pouring snacks in the cooler. He's walking out with a huge cooler. And we get to the final door right before our charter bus, and there's a big NCAA logo sign right at the door, the final door to go outside. And he just sets the cooler down and rips the sign off. So he has a big ass sign, a cooler. It was the funniest sight ever. It got us a good laugh after losing that game, that's for sure.
Man, I can't imagine that they were pleased by that. All right. We're waiting for Georges Niang here.
Yeah, he's doing big boy jobs right now. I don't know what he's doing.
Okay. Yeah, we'll talk about some of our stories here from the week. What you got all of these stories, so which ones should we go through? Here, you can lead it here.
Are we doing dumbass of the week?
Yeah, let's do dumbass of the week here.
Okay. I don't know where to start here. We got to start with the Walmart.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we got to start with Walmart.
So this is recently September 12th, 2022. A man in Tennessee is accused of stealing TVs from a Walmart and selling them in the parking lot of that store, according to the incident report obtained by WVLT. Officers responded to a Walmart in Knoxville on 9 p.m. Saturday and found Donald Kirkland in possession of the stolen items, report stated. Police said Kirkland ran from the officers but was eventually taken into custody. Kirkland told the officers he had stolen the TVs, a karaoke machine, and camping equipment from the retail store. It was selling the items in the parking lot. Like how?
That's next level stupid.
I wish our audience could see the picture of this guy too, because it'd be like, oh, okay, this looks like
exactly the kind of person you'd expect to be. Yeah.
So that's first dumbass of the week.
What man, what do you think what are you doing with the karaoke machine you buy in the
That's
Walmart
a wide range
from a guy
of
with
items.
those face tattoos?
The worst part is you're out in the parking lot, man. Just go somewhere. Go across the street to somewhere.
Well, who's gonna buy the Walmart TV in the parking lot when they're at Walmart?
Can you imagine he's selling it for like $5 less?
Like that's what I don't understand about this entire thing. I mean, why buy it from the crackhead-looking guy outside?
It's unbelievable. The second one, this might be my favorite one. I don't know if you saw the viral video. I think it came out last night of the woman projectile vomiting at Bengals game, the star of week 1.
Oh, jeez.
And if you guys listening, you guys please just go and look at this video. It is so damn funny. This girl looks like she has a White Claw in front of her and literally pouring White Claw out of her mouth. How do you get that drunk at a football game?
At Bengals I'm looking this up.
Oh, you haven't seen this video, have you?
No, I haven't seen it.
We're gonna get a live reaction of Jared when he watches.
I should have just clicked the link. I guess that would have been the smart thing to do. No, I have not seen this. Oh God, I just saw the picture. I don't want to look at that anymore.
You gotta watch the video. It's like 5 seconds. We gotta see the live reaction.
Oh gosh. All right. Man, what? How do you get that drunk? Oh my God. Oh no. Oh. No one's even helping her. Oh.
I feel bad. I don't know what the guy in the front's doing. Is he just disabled?
There's
like
little kids right there too. Oh man. That's disgusting, dude. What are you doing if you see somebody like that?
I'm moving. The girl in front is just sitting there.
She's taking it. Just taking it.
She's taking it.
Puke to the back. Fuck it.
That's not even like
go
puke,
Bengals.
Though. That's like pure. Is this not the most Cleveland? Wait, this is Bengals, Cincinnati.
I mean, I can imagine why she was puking. Did you watch Pittsburgh and Cincinnati the other day?
Or she just watched the Iowa offense play.
That too. Hey, maybe she got confused. The Hawkeyes and Steelers do look awfully similar. So, yeah, that's something else. How? I mean,
that one might not get that. That one I think might be in the running for top dumbass of the year right there.
I think I've been pretty drunk in my life sometimes. I've never been that drunk before. That I'm like projectile vomiting. That's next level, man. I don't know about that one. Man, you've been to an NFL game before, though?
What's that?
Have you been to an NFL game before?
I've been to one. I've been to a Vikings game.
Dude, those people are fucking crazy. Yeah. The people that go to NFL games and go to them like all the time.
There's that grill that exploded on, I think, was it
the Bengals or the Denver? No, Miami and New England game. Yeah, it exploded like 6 cars.
Someone didn't turn the damn grill off. I'm sure they came back after the game and everything was just burnt to crisp.
Well, it probably didn't help that they'd had like 40 Bud Lights before they went into the game, like, man, but it's one of those things. You go to a college tailgate, those people get drunk. Like, don't get me wrong, but man, the NFL tailgates are something else. I don't know. And then they just keep feeding people alcohol all the way through the third quarter.
Especially like the Buffalo fans. I feel like the Buffalo fans are like on a.
I want to go to a Buffalo Bills game. I don't know what it is about the Buffalo Bills. I hate them though. I hate them, but I want to go. I don't know. Like, I don't know what it is. I just have never liked them. I don't know. Everybody's picking them to win the Super Bowl, and I'm like, I'll believe Buffalo is going to win the Super Bowl when I see Buffalo win the fucking Super Bowl. Yeah, right.
I'll tell you what. We played in Buffalo this last NCAA tournament game, and I might have like Buffalo fans knocking at my door tomorrow, but I'm going to say it. That city sucks.
Oh, that does not shock me at all.
Gosh.
I remember when I was looking at the sites when we were thinking about where Iowa State was going to go, and all it was, please, God, just don't send us to fucking Buffalo.
That's what we were always saying.
I want to go to Buffalo.
Of all places, like I hate to make excuses, but first off, we play Sunday night game, and we get a Thursday. It's a lot of traveling. I think we talked about this maybe before, and then we get stuck in Buffalo. We can't get like a California or like somewhere a little.
Haven't they talked about moving the Big Ten championship game off of like Sunday afternoon because of how hard it is on the teams?
I mean, you hate to make excuses for obviously your own team and teams prior, but I honestly think that's a huge factor on why Big Ten is having struggle in the NCAA tournament. There is so much going into on the backside of things just to get ready for a Thursday game or Friday game. When you play that late Sunday night game, like you're just Monday and Tuesday, you're not getting anything done because usually.
Did you even go back to Iowa City from Indianapolis? Yeah. Oh shit.
We got back at like midnight.
I was say so. You probably you got back at midnight and then probably left on what, Tuesday?
Left Tuesday early morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember. I mean, all these times with Iowa State that they've made it, it is nice that they even if they win the Big 12 title or whatever, it's like everybody gets back home on Sunday and then they watch the selection show together and all that stuff. It's an off day, and it's like not near as hectic as I imagine as it is when you play a game right before.
Yeah. So before Niang should be coming on any second. What do What are you expecting out of this guy? Have you interviewed him before or talked to him? I'm assuming you
Oh,
talked to him
yeah,
before.
yeah. George was me and George were actually in the same class at Iowa State. So when
Oh,
I was a student working covering the team, I interviewed him a bunch of times. And then he knows Chris well too,
yeah.
obviously. So yeah, no, I don't know what I'm gonna expect from him. Sometimes when you get him, he's like spitting fire, and sometimes he's kind of chill. So
Yeah.
I guess
I
we're gonna have to
do.
wait and see which version we're gonna get. I
Let,
imagine
let,
you'll bring the spitting fire out of him.
well, it's funny. Well,
There he is.
speaking of
Speak of
the
the
devil.
devil. It's
Yeah.
Georges Niang.
Spitting fire is right.
Why is it so dark over there? Turn the light on.
Hey, listen, pal. You don't get to say anything after this week.
How are you doing, George?
I'm doing good, and actually, I got a chance to listen to the podcast before I got on because I like to do a little, research.
Yeah.
And J-Bo, what is this? You felt like you got screwed out of 20% of your college games? Did you really think you were going to go 150-0? I mean, I know all Hawkeye fans think that way, but
I mean, first of all, I played more than 150 games, so
I think it was 179 when I looked it up, which is
whatever.
even crazier, honestly.
He did like 4 victory laps.
you don't think games are fixed?
No, I don't think they're fixed, but I think reasons why you guys lost is because you have that mentality.
Ooh.
And I mean, I hate to say this because it's going to cause some controversy, but I don't think your coach is very well liked. So I'm sure refs weren't, too keen of giving him like a good whistle, especially when he turns like beet red and is like cussing them out.
Wouldn't you say though that's like a type of fixing though when refs have grudges against coaches?
Nah, I mean, I really don't think they're out there like trying to like screw anybody. Like I think everybody misses calls, just like I miss rebounds and box outs and stuff like that. But I wouldn't say I thought 20% was pretty high, but I had to check you on that as soon as I got on here.
Don't worry, we've already talked about it. Yeah.
Yeah. We were just talking about it.
There were a lot of people who took something that way more serious. I was doing like radio interviews in Omaha and stuff. People asking me if he was serious that 20% of his games that he lost were fixed.
Wow. That's tough crowd.
Well, he texted me and he's like, dude, we got people in Omaha like reacting to your quote. I'm like, bro, do they realize like what I was saying was really exaggerated and we're like just trying to be funny? Like everyone just takes the clip and they're like, run with it.
That's the worst.
Which is why we did it though.
How'd you enjoy the game on Saturday?
Oh, it was tough to watch at some points, but the better team just grinded it out. And we grinded it out at their game. That slow, fucking annoying, like hold the ball, win 7-4, and we beat them at their game.
Do you think actually Iowa State's good this year, or is Iowa just really bad?
I think Iowa State's defense is because don't get it twisted, like Iowa's defense is actually like really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously offensively, so for us to, go through all of that, turning the ball over, and then be able to, make something happen towards the end. I mean, both teams are making mistakes, and the fact that, we had enough grit, toughness, all those things to pull it out. Cy-Hawk Trophy's coming home.
Were you nervous at all when they lined up to kick that last field goal?
Man, hell yeah.
Dude, you gotta tell Jared what happened.
Like someone tweeted out about the podcast and I like quote tweeted and I was like, yeah, this should be a ton of fun. And then that 20-yard penalty happened. I was like slammed to delete it. And then they missed a field goal. And then I like fired it back up again. I was like, whoa.
I texted him right after I saw him delete it because I was about to reply and I saw he deleted the tweet. I'm like, bro, you backpedal on that really quick, didn't you?
All it took was one flag for everything to change really, really quick.
They called what was the penalty? And then unsportsmanlike conduct. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, they called offsides on MJ Anderson, or they said he lined up in the neutral zone, which I think was a stretch to begin with. But God forbid we have some fucking discretion, right? Like with as the officials, it's like they just think they won the game. Like, what do you expect? I mean, they don't even know that the flag's out there, you know.
But then again, like we had some calls. What was it, like the pass interference or whatever? Some of those calls, I was
Yeah.
like, oh.
Well, and then the one on the sideline where he got pushed out of bounds was probably borderline. You know, that was a tough one too. Like
Yeah, but that was like a jerk off move. Like he was going out of bounds, and you gave him like an extra.
yeah, and then I mean, those sidelines at Kinnick are so small too that when someone goes flying out of bounds, like they're flying into a shit ton of people, you know. And
he still was run out of bounds though. Like, you got to be smart, like especially in a hostile environment. I don't even know why you would do that.
Yeah, that was like I said, that was a dickhead play. I mean, I don't even like talking shit to college kids.
Really? We got to clip that one. We're clipping that one.
No, I just do it. I mean, honestly, like we're getting off topic, but I just do it for like fun. There's no like serious like ill will or maliciousness towards it. And sometimes I catch heat where it's like, close the yearbook, Niang. Like I'm like,
that's so stupid.
Have a little fun. Like, holy.
How's that any different than any normal person talking about the Cyhawk rivalry? Any other Iowa State alum talking about it? That's, I mean, that's where people are. Oh man, some people are just so thin-skinned, you know. And it's like that's the thing. Like I've talked to Jordan about this a lot. A lot of Iowa State fans hate Jordan. A lot of them, you know.
Yeah, you see what the fuck he did? That whole sign in the fucking shoes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they're all
me, and all I did was blow a kiss. This guy fucking signed his shoes like he was fucking Walter Payton.
And a bunch of them took it really serious. Like thought that was like a really like disrespectful thing, you know. And that just is the kind of stuff that's just like with some fans, it doesn't matter who they're a fan of.
I ended up donating. I ended up donating like all that money to Children's Hospital too, and I still get shit for that. But I did want to ask you this, and I'm glad we brought this up because we've talked about this before. Like the drama that we cause. I mean, obviously we've created a friendship over it too, but like everyone takes it so damn serious. Like what we're doing is like we're killing someone at that point. Like that's how they take it. I'm like, bro, just fucking relax.
Yeah, at some point it just becomes laughable where, you know, it's like, dude, at the end of the day, like if you can't laugh and take a joke and like understand that someone's just talking shit to get you riled up, and then when it always goes overboard when they try to like take it personal. It's like,
yeah,
dude, like I'm gonna wake up and go live my life. Like I'm enjoying this rivalry. This is good and healthy for the rivalry. Like you don't need to take it there, but if you're gonna take it there, like I'll drag this on and keep throwing jabs and leave it like that. But yeah, no, it sometimes it gets over the top, but some of the stuff is like some of the stuff that people come up with is like hilarious. Like one dude was like, you'll still always be like a fat slob and this, that, and the other. And
damn. Like, holy shit.
Why gotta be all that?
Right. It's like, man, you could at least try and be original if you're gonna be mean, you know. Yeah. That's I ran into your boy Matt Thomas in the press box up at Kinnick Stadium. I don't know what the hell he was doing in the press box, but he was walking around in there.
How the hell did he get in the press box?
I don't know what he was doing. Yeah.
Can't hide money up there.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
Actually, there was one, like the reason why I don't go back to Kinnick is literally when they were doing construction. I think it was like Hakeem Butler's last year. I don't know what
2018. Yeah, 2018.
And so I'm trying to like squeeze around and like get in the stadium, and you know they were doing like construction, and I like squeeze around someone, and some dude like took like a swing at me, and I was with like my uncle and a couple of his buddies, and they just like grabbed him, and I was like, see, this is why, you know, I just need to just chill and not be in Iowa City because I'm dodging haymakers, and I watched.
I don't think anyone would try and fight you in the press box. At least if you could get up there, and if you can get that Matt Thomas money, apparently.
I don't have those funds for that.
How are things going in Philadelphia, man?
Oh, they're great. You know, I just got back here, so working out with the team. You know, those lovely preseason conditioning drills and pick up that lasts for an hour and a half because someone's mad that, they lost the last game, and then it just goes back and forth for a while.
I do have a question. This kind of reminded me of it because you play on a couple of teams now, and you're on your Philly. It's your second year in Philly, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So who's been your least favorite person in the NBA, and why is it Ben Simmons?
Honestly, you're really going to try to set me up on your own podcast. Way to get clicks. Love that.
You got to get the aggregators.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't even think I have any ill will towards him at this point. I actually hope he gets the help that he can get, because it honestly seems like it was a little more serious than what people gave him credit for. But I mean, he just was when you want to be a part of a team, he didn't want to be a part of our team. And obviously it affected us. We were playing without a superstar. So obviously I felt some type of way, especially during the year, but he's moved on, we've moved on, and it basically is what it is. I mean, obviously when we play them, it's going to be like war, but until then, it is what it is.
What's it like playing with Joel Embiid?
Oh,
a lot better than playing against him?
I was going to say, I like playing alongside of him. I don't enjoy playing against him, that's for sure.
I remember when he came to Hilton, man, and with Wiggins, those guys were something else, man. That was the first Big 12 game I ever covered, and I remember watching him from the baseline. I was like, holy shit, this guy's a whole different kind of cat out here.
Yeah, he's 35 pounds heavier and has way more skill now. It's actually, he's a beast. And the fact that he's that size and can do guard stuff and has a jumper, fade away, that stuff is impressive, really impressive.
I saw you were, was it last year? You're on JJ Redick's podcast.
Yeah,
dude. First of all, that podcast is phenomenal, dude. I had so much fun listening to that shit. He's so knowledgeable about the game. It's unbelievable.
Oh yeah, I think the best thing that he does, he actually with his words can paint an actual picture and then changes his pitches to get you lured in. And he was in fact, that and you're just locked in on the podcast.
What, you don't think Kendrick Perkins is as good at that on ESPN as what JJ is?
Oh man, Kendrick Perkins. Y'all better keep a cool booty. Oh man, he has
what does he always say at the end? Carry on.
Yeah. People come at him kind of crazy too. His hate is real. Or not real, but crazy. Because NBA players really launch off at him, him and KD, that's been kind of wild.
Who's the most out of pocket NBA media?
Oh, Patrick Beverley.
Oh, I don't know if we count him. Obviously, he is a pretty.
What do you mean? Did you see what he did on ESPN? That was
how crazy first of all, he's got this new podcast, The Bar, so I already know that's gonna be fucking insane. And then he's got he's with the Lakers now. How crazy is that after all the shit he talked?
Am I wrong if I low-key wonder if his personality might work well with where he might hold some people accountable?
I think he's
the
a
kind
winner.
Of guy he is. Yeah.
At the end of the day, he's a winner. Come on. Look what he added that edge to Minnesota. As much as people oh, he didn't do he instills confidence in people to bring out the dog in them. That counts for something.
Well, that's what I was talking to my friend tonight. I was like, man, I think the last thing that anybody should have wanted is someone who's going to go in there and fire up LeBron, or even Anthony Davis, to keep him on the floor,
He gets them playing. It could be one of two ways. He either gets them playing or they're all right, shut up, dude.
Yeah.
So.
You excited to play against Monte twice this year? Or 4 times, I guess, even?
Actually, right down the street. I actually got to give him a holler, see where he's living down there. It's only a 2-hour drive, so if we're alone for Christmas, I'm going to tell him he needs to bring my Christmas gifts over here. He makes a lot more money than me, so I'm not going to be buying him any Christmas gifts.
Man, we got to get Georges Niang, Monte Morris, and Matt Thomas money at this point, man. This is uphill.
No, what you really need to get is that Keegan Murray money.
God damn. Yeah. Tyrese Halliburton money even at this point, too.
You know what? Yeah, next summer.
Yeah.
Crazy.
All right, buddy. We appreciate you coming on, man.
Hey, thank you guys for having me.
George, it's always a
You got
pleasure.
any parting
You
words for Jordan?
you already know. Like, I respect the hell out of you, man. I appreciate you and everything you did for the rivalry. I try to step in your shoes. Everyone always says that, but it's true. It's true.
You did a solid job. I mean, you'll always be number 2, but you did a solid job.
Wait. First off, I think I had a better record, and I don't think you can top. I think I topped your kiss with the shoes.
Man, I mean, you probably sat out a good amount of time in your off time to think of that one because I'm creative. But the
Fair
kiss
enough.
was just like a spur of the moment. You like had that queued up.
I did. It was.
I
I had it in my notepad in my phone. I had it all what I was gonna do.
I give credit when credit is due. That was tough.
Yeah, cost me a little bit, but
Hey,
Right.
I ain't mad at it.
I appreciate you though for real.
You guys take it easy.
Yeah,
Yeah, take it easy, George. All right, man. That was good stuff. He's awesome, dude. He's always funny.
He's such a good dude, and I always felt like that's an important thing too. Like, everyone thinks we hate each other for whatever reason. Like, he's a good ass dude. I mean, we talk all the time, we text all the time. Like,
I can't imagine why people would think that you guys would hate each other.
well, it's just the same thing like with us. Like, before we started this podcast, I feel like
Well,
everyone's
you did
like,
say you don't like me. You did say that on
Yeah.
Twitter at like 3 a.m. the other night.
I had Drake playing, my lights were dim, and I was
Oh
like,
jeez. Oh jeez. I just got back. I got back from Iowa City, drove straight to the bar and hung out with my friends for a little bit, and yeah, I was up celebrating, I suppose you could say.
how'd you make it back through the construction? Because I know that construction is a bitch.
No, dude, what actually sucked, man, was there was a, I hope nobody got hurt in this, but there was a big accident on I-80 West.
Oh,
And
damn.
we sat, man, like probably 25, 30 minutes outside Iowa City, but before you get to like Brooklyn or anywhere like that. And we probably sat there for an hour and just sat there and waited. You couldn't
Didn't even move at all.
No, you couldn't see anything. And even if you did move, it was just like a little bit forward. You couldn't even see what was going on. You could just see where they had one side of the road closed, and then there's just hundreds of cars trying to get through on I-80.
Damn.
So yeah, that made it to where the trip was like 2.5 hours. Dude, it's crazy. The last 2 times I've gone to Iowa City now. It was this last weekend, and then the time before that was when you guys played Iowa State during COVID.
Mhm.
And there
You
was
were
a
at that
blizzard.
game?
Yeah, I was like one of like 25 people there. But there was a blizzard after that game, and I
Yeah.
drove back through the blizzard, and it was like 2:00 in the morning, and I could and like the snow was almost up to the bottom of my car, like right when I got to Newton, and a snowplow pulled on just as I was getting past Newton, when I was like, man, this shit's getting kind of dangerous. And I was able to cruise on home with the snowplow, but man, that was treacherous. So I need to stop going to Iowa City, because apparently this always turns into a whole ordeal.
I forgot about that game because I think we won by a lot that game.
Yeah.
And we had, I remember we're walking. First off, Carver needs to fix this because both teams walk in the same tunnel. We've had numerous games where it happened. I think it was Portland State. Guys were pounding on our locker to try to get into the locker to fight us for whatever reason. I have no idea what happened. I was just chilling in the media room, and that happened at Iowa State too, because we're walking down the side.
The time when who was it? Michael Jacobson. Who did he get into? Cordell Pencil?
No, that was June. That was my junior year. That happened. It happened. They didn't try to break in that time, but this senior, my first of like 17 senior years during COVID, they tried to. I can't think of who it was. But they were talking shit because both teams is huddling up right before the game too. It'll go out. And then halftime, you come in at the same time. And at the end of the game, you come at the same time. So people were jawing back and forth in the tunnel the whole entire before the game and the halftime. And then at the end of the game, one of the Iowa State players tried to there was like a huge pile, like a bunch of people were in there. Like, we had guys leaving the locker room to go outside, like try to fight and stuff. Like, it was insane. And we had to get cops came, we had to get separated, and we had to get
damn, I did not know about any of this.
Because it was kept quiet. No one knew.
Yeah.
It was kept quiet this entire time. Yeah.
Jeez.
I got a text like Connor and Patrick to remember the dude that because he was mostly the one talking shit to a couple of us. And obviously, I'm gonna draw back, and then a couple of the bigger guys had my back, so they're gonna.
Man,
You know,
there's not a lot of. They didn't have much room to stand on at that time.
no, but it's like
to
the
talk.
more of the concept is like, why the hell would both teams be going on the same tunnel at the end of the game?
Right.
Like emotions are crazy.
They
at
are
the end of
doing a bunch
games.
of work to the arena, aren't they? It looked like they were doing something when I was driving by there.
Not that I know of.
There's a
Oh,
big
they're
old
building
hole in the ground. I was gonna
they're
say, I don't
building
know. They
a-
must be doing something.
They're building the wrestling arena connected to Carver right there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say they were doing. There was a big old hole in the ground. I was like, oh, I didn't know they're doing anything here. Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully they'll fix the tunnels then for you sometime. I mean, I guess it won't matter for you, but in the future, so
maybe. It might
no
come
more
back again.
fights in the apparent fights. Man, I should. Somebody's gonna do some investigative journalism about this now and get to the bottom of this apparent fight, the 2020 COVID game between Iowa and Iowa State. When Iowa, I think you guys won by like 45 points. So
I'm surprised no one wrote about it because I mean it's pretty loud in the tunnel. Like there's a lot of people in there. Someone had to video record it or something.
I mean, no one was there. Like the
There-
media
that's
couldn't
true.
even go back there. You know, we
That's
couldn't even
true.
go down there into the media room or anything like that. It was just you had to stay in your seat and that was it. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
man, that's wild. All right, man. We'll talk to you next week though. That was good stuff.
Yep.
Thanks everybody for listening.